friend of mine just got hired by ICE, and he told me that the paycheck was $120,000 a year. Monetarily, income-wise, best job he's ever had. And after a few days on the job, he was like, I just don't understand Americans. And he was a Democrat. He was a liberal. He's one I used to trade barbs with back and forth about libs and conservatives and Trump and Kamala. And now he's radicalized all the way to the right because of you people in the streets, making his job hard. His wife, his couple of kids. And he just feels like every time I go out there, I hate these people. He hates these liberals in the streets. And then you guys are going, shame, shame. You're shaming and doxing ICE agents who have families just like you do, who have loved ones, friends, parents, and they're just trying to make a living. Just trying to make a living. They are the messengers. They're just doing their job. ICE agents don't make the laws, guys. They just follow them. Protesting ICE workers is like yelling at cashiers because you don't like the store prices. They are the wrong target. If people are mad about immigration rules, they should be protesting the politicians in DC. They're the ones who wrote the laws, not the people hired to enforce them. They're out here trying to keep your community safe, trying to remove dangerous people from the street. A big part of what ICE does is finding and removing people who've committed serious crimes, like human trafficking or gang activity. They are here to stop the bad guys.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all as you watch this broadcast. It's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ along with Shelly E. How are you doing tonight, Shelly?
See, she wanted to get me to be somebody else already.
I know. I almost started to call you Michelle. Oh my gosh. Folks, let me tell you guys something. Last night I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I'll get into the bathroom. It was pitch black and I bent over and I banged my head on the towel rack so hard. I have a knot here. I don't know if everybody can see it. So if I seem a little wonky,
you can't see it.
It might be because of that. But whatever. Okay, so let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Again, Nicole is out. She's handling a family matter. Please keep her in your thoughts and prayers, folks. But we're going to keep this going. So before we light this fire, please do your part. Tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. I think we already got a super chat. Shelly, is that right?
Yes, we do. We have Randy Tyson for our first super chatter of the night. For your $5, we thank you. Randy says the walkaway campaign 1 million plus ex-Dems and counting. Okay, we must win midterms. Thank you for that, Randy.
Yes, we must, folks, and that's what we love to hear. All right, and we love our chat, and we shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast, folks. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, Shelly, let's set this off. So that was an interesting opening. As the gentleman said, he has a friend who, took a job, because it is a job, as a ICE officer, and he's seeing firsthand what is going on, and now he is no longer a Democrat. What are your thoughts, Shelly?
I think that's happening. Same thing happened pretty much at the 2024 election with President Trump. A lot of people, particularly males, a lot of black males, they moved over to vote for Donald Trump, signed up as a Republican or independent, whatever the case may be. But again, by and large, I think most Americans are, I would say, normal, common sense people. I mean, I just think they are. Yes, we have our leftist Americans who want to tear down America, but most people just basically want to be able to live their lives in relative normalcy.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was a really poignant clip because it really talks about how what we're seeing the mainstream media portray and what is actually occurring on the ground are two different things. Now, I think within conservative circles, circles on the right, we're kind of plugged in to some of the citizen journalists that are on the ground in Minneapolis and who have been on the ground all over this country and are really seeing how vicious and just unhinged many of these protesters are. I call them agitators because they're not protesting. Most of these people are agitators. And
Yeah, these
so
people are. Yeah, a lot of these people are. Yeah.
yeah, and so it's a very it's I hope that that is getting through to more than just maybe Democrat ICE officers. I hope that more people are actually looking and digging deeper into what we're seeing and saying this isn't okay. Impeding ICE operations are not okay. You know, spitting and throwing projectiles at these people are not okay. And it's really starting to and to see the Democrat leadership not call this out is I think starting to really get to the voters. Here's another young lady. Now, she's a young lady who has been kind of a closeted conservative and is now coming out and saying, I'm going to stand on my foundation. This is clip 7.
You know what? I don't care anymore. I don't. I love God, I love my family, and I love America. I'm a conservative. I believe that life begins at conception. I'm against abortion. I believe there are two genders. That's what I believe, okay? And for so long, I have not, said my beliefs or my opinions on social media because every time I do, I delete the video so fast because of the amount of hate I get. I've gotten death threats. I've had stalkers. I've had people just commenting on my looks and who I am and my family, and it's like, for what? Like, you went out of your way for what to do that? And so I'd get filled with so much fear, and I'd have anxiety attacks and so much just being anxious because, like, I don't want to post my beliefs if people are going to be that mean, But I'm at the point where I just don't care. Like, if you have to go out of your way to do that, like, cool, good for you. But if I see something I don't like or don't agree with, like, I keep scrolling or I block you. Like, we may not agree on the same things, but we can have respect. I don't care what political party you are, what religious beliefs you are. I will love on you, I will be kind to you, and I will respect you. I may not agree with you, but I will respect you. So this is me standing on my truth.
Wow. This is why platforms like ours are so important. For one, I know I can really connect with this young lady. Being in Maryland is a blue state. I am a former Democrat. Now, many years I've been a conservative, but I was a Democrat. I'm surrounded by family and friends who are on the left, and people are mean, folks. Like I said, and we said this on the show before, when I was a Democrat, and I was, vocal about it on social media and all over the place, I never received the types of nastiness from Republicans that I receive now from the so-called inclusive left. All right. What are your thoughts on that, Shelley?
Look, that young lady, God bless her. I know she's kind of just starting out, if you will. Like you said, you were a Democrat. I was a Democrat a long time ago. Again, I've gone through Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent. I've been through them all. But one of the things that I love about this lady, she actually sounds like what we call blue dog Democrats, if you will, or old school Democrats, where they, like you say, I'll love on you. You know, I don't have to agree with you, but I can respect you, blah, blah, blah. So she sounds like that, and she's on her journey. I just want her to know, if she's listening to this podcast, that she can always reach out to us, and we can, get her ready for the fight in real life, real people in real time. We can certainly help her with that. So again, God bless her. And I hope she continues and just stays on the path.
Yeah. But, honestly, it's not right. Like, we shouldn't have to feel this way, where we are always walking on eggshells. I'm in
I don't anymore, KJ, but go.
Well, I do. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't. I do. And it's not so much with family, but it's just with, and I was actually talking to a friend about this. It's with people that just are maybe not know you, but think they know you. I'm just talking about everyday services. I'm in a parent chat, for my son, and these women are leftists, and it's just like they just assume that everyone is that way. And I find myself sort of not wanting to mention my political beliefs, even though they mention theirs in spaces and in conversations that don't even warrant political talk. But I don't mention it because I know it's going to be an issue, because I'm a minority of it. And not only do they disagree, but then they're nasty. They'll do things that'll go above and beyond just disagreement.
Right.
So, I have services that I deal with different people, and they are always spouting their beliefs, and some of them, if you tell them that you're conservative or Republican, they'll feel that they don't want to deal with you.
Yeah, I have experienced that, KJ, and I said I don't really walk on eggshells anymore. I used to do that. What I don't do is, I like with clients, family. My family already knows where I stand for the most part, right? But even in some social groups, believe it or not, even in gun clubs, there are people who have differences of opinions about politics, right? We might agree on 2A, but there are people who are all over the place. I typically don't necessarily start the conversation.
No, I don't need.
Right. What happens 9 times out of 10 is that someone will ask me something, whether it be a colleague or a client. They will ask me something, and I give them, my answer, and that might start the conversation, or they might be shocked, things like that. But I don't typically walk on eggshells. I have done that. Don't get me wrong. I am circumspect about if I'm in a professional setting, or if I'm in a work setting. Well, this is not the place for it anyway, right?
Right.
But if someone asks me at work, I do answer. I will respond.
Yeah, I answer too, and I answer honestly. Now, I do try to not get into those conversations with these types of people. Now, I'm not talking about family or friends. I am talking about people that are, just everyday, professional settings or service settings, things like that. I frequent, a coffee shop that I love that is run by leftists here. And, if I go in there with my MAGA hat on or whatever, I'm going to get my stuff spit in. I know this. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. So it's just stuff like that, conversations where they automatically think that you are, on the left. Just little stuff they say. And instead of me responding, I'll just ignore it most of the time.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about. But we say all this to say, this is why we started this platform, Pop in Politics, and the other channel, which are my other channel, Christian Conservative, which gives a biblical conservative response. Then also Just the Guys. We are all here, and we're growing, folks. We're growing to let people know you are not alone. And it's not so much because I know a lot of people in rural areas or in right-leaning states don't have to deal with this crap. But we're here for people in California, in Maryland, in New York, in Australia, because we have fans in Australia. I mean, these areas that are dominated by the left, but there are conservatives, there are patriots in these areas. And you're like, where are my people? Well, we're your people.
Right.
All right. Let's see here. I think we have
another super here. It is Randy Tyson again. You're number 2. Thank you for your $5 super chat, Randy. Randy shared in the hashtag walkaway discussion group. They love hearing about ex-Dems. Every testimonial starts with, then I started to do research. Yeah. Randy, that's a good point. I think that it applies to me, maybe KJ. It probably applies to, I would say, 99% of the people who left the Democratic Party. You know, for the most part, we can certainly attest to that. We started to do some digging, some research, asking some questions that would lead you here and there, and then we wound up where we are. So, yep, you're right, Randy. Thanks for that. Yeah. All the rest of you out there in Super Chat Land or Chatter Land, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Go ahead. We're about half and half. So half of you have not hit that button. You got some work to do. And while we are at it, while you're, tampering around with the buttons, we have some merchandise, right? So we need to tell you about our merchandise. We have some merchandise. We have some new t-shirts. We have the old ones that are still there. We have hats and mugs and all kinds of things on there. Stickers you can buy as well. Go ahead, get your merchandise. This is the newest one. Give me my money back. That's how you have to say it when you get it. Give me my money back. You just got to be really specific and clear. Give me my money back. All kinds of colors, all the colors of the rainbow. You can pick your sizes, women's sizes or cuts and men's cut, all there for you. Go ahead and get your gear now, your merchandise. And remember, whatever you buy, if you take a picture of it, once you get it, send it in and we will shout you out. So go ahead and get busy. Thank you all for your support.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. And I'm wearing one of the old shirts, but we're going to bring this one back. If you guys can see it, it says not black, not white, American. So yeah, don't let them divide us. Right.
Oh yeah, so
this is a cool one. And this one is a great conversation starter. I've gotten so many compliments on this shirt because it really resonates with a lot of people. We're a one nation under God, and we shouldn't be divided. All right, so let's get into the news, folks. We got to go back to Minnesota to bring you the latest. One of the viral videos out is of Bill O'Reilly, folks. So he is on, I believe, News Nation, and he let this host have it. So here he's talking about the protest, and he's basically saying, as we mentioned yesterday, these are not organic. These are not protesters. They're insurrectionists, really. They're agitators, and they are funded by international communists. They are organized and lethal. So take a look here. This is clip 1.
Here's the most important part of this whole thing, unreported, okay? There is a man in Shanghai, China, an American citizen. His name is Neville Roy Singham. He works with the Beijing government. He is funneling millions of dollars into the United States of America through 501s like Party for Socialism and Liberation, Democratic Socialists of America, Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. There he is, okay? Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy. He is funneling money here to these radical organizations who are then agitating professional people, communists mostly, because Singham's a communist, all right, to go in and foster rebellion. You heard that story reported? That is absolutely true. The man has been investigated by the FBI in the past, this Singham character, okay? This isn't some organic thing. This is a foreign power, Beijing, using this American citizen who lives openly in Shanghai in luxury, knowing that this man is funneling tens of millions, probably more, into this country to try to destroy the government. What the deuce is that? Where are you, New York Times? All right? That's the second part of the story. There's a local federal story, and there's the international story. And I've had it. You don't like what I'm saying? Blank you, because I'm telling you the truth.
Wow, he's right. He is right. That's why this is not a protest. This is the real insurrection, folks. These are agitators. They're organized. They're well-funded. It is not a rebellion. It's a billionaire subsidized radicalism. That's what this is. Shirley, what are your thoughts on that exchange?
Well, look, a few things. Number one, we have been talking about on here the NGO networking, if you will, if that's what you want to call it, and how many organizations get all this money, and some of it is taxpayer money. Our money just doled out. Again, give us our money back. But this part is a little more insidious, because you called it a billionaire's, what do you call a dream? I'm calling it a billionaire's communist wet dream. That's what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
You know, they get orgasmic. They want to tear down America. They want it to be like communist China and any other authoritarian dictatorship around the world, North Korea, God forbid. But these people, we talked a little bit, we've been talking about how these NGOs work. They get this money, they can funnel it through, they can hide it, they play the shell game, if you will. They will sponsor and back all of these various, I don't know, projects is what they call them. And many of them are, I would say, they're not good. And all this is hidden under this 501 whatever banner, if you will, right? Where all this money goes unaccounted for. And let me be clear, I'm not saying private money, your money. Your money should not be open for grabs or open to the books to the government either. That's your private income. But when you have money like this that's being used by way of taxpayer benefits, because 501c3s are under the public auspice, then therefore we should know what the hell is going on.
Yeah. And let's talk about some of these organizations. So one is the Sunrise Movement. It's a far left activist organization founded in 2017 that originally branded itself as a climate movement, but has since expanded into full spectrum progressive activism aligned with, of course, the Democrat Party. So again, who funds it? Open Society Foundations. They spent $2 million in 2019. The Ford Foundation, they gave $700,000 in 2024, between 2024 and 2025. And the MacArthur Foundation, they gave $250,000 in 2024. All right. So as Bill O'Reilly mentioned, then you have the local enforcers. All right. They run a 24/7 ICE sighting hotline. They dispatch trained responders to block arrests. All right. This is funded by the Ford Foundation and the 1613 Fund. All right. You also have another group, Defend the 612 or 612. These host ICE watch training. They publish ICE vehicle lists, license plates of abductors. Folks, this is not protests. These are organized insurrectionists, okay? They funnel donations through nonprofits tied to these organizations. Another one, the Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors. All right. These are crowdsourcing surveillance of federal agents and calling it justice. That's not what this is. So when you hear me say, you know, something needs to be done about these people, I mean it. We're at war. They are at war, and they got a really organized ground game, and they're well funded.
Yeah. Another big, I guess, NGO, if you will, is the Tides Foundation. Sponsors a whole lot of these leftist programs on the local level, state level. They get all of these funds from the state, all grants. You know, the funny word, or the word is catch-all grants. But one of the solutions we were talking about, okay, you asked about what could we do, right? This is a couple things I just jotted down. Number one, cut the taxpayer funding portion of it. Taxpayers should not be having our money distributed up to other organizations that we have no idea where it's going. Period. We should not do it. I don't care. If I want to donate my money to XYZ, I will do that. That's number one. Number two, this man, Singham, Roy, Neville, whatever his name is. Number two, he's a Chinese citizen now. Cut the dual citizenship. And if you don't have American citizenship, then you should not be able to funnel your money through international means to American nonprofits. No, if you have a private family foundation, that's something that's different. But if you are American citizen and you live in another country and you're an expat, then cut the dual citizenship. Pick one. You can't have both. And again, that's going to be sort of like an indirect boundary to it. But I think those are the two things that I wrote down that we could definitely start there. Oh, number three, open the books. That's it. Open the books. Any legitimate nonprofit, if it's receiving any kind of taxpayer subsidies, grants, whatever, then we have to open the books because that means the public is helping to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are all great responses and reactions to this. I see we have some super chatters here.
Yes, we have Glenda Stucker here for your $10 super chat. Thank you, Glenda. Glenda says she loves your rational, well-researched commentary. Thank you, ladies, for your hard work and dedication. Thank you, Glenda, for stopping by. And the rest of you, keep hitting that like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much. And again, you your super chats go a long way in helping us produce this conservative content. We don't have these $1 million billionaires behind us. So you guys, your super chats help us stay online, and we appreciate the support.
Can I say something about that real quick?
Oh, yes. So,
I mean, this is funny. I just want to share like a transparent moment with our audience, right? KJ says that, like we don't have these billions and we're not funded by whatever NGO or whoever, right? And we're not. And sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, are we going to ever, get there? And you know what? Then we stop and we look and we say, you know what? We're glad that we're not grifting, was the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're glad that we're not selling out, so to speak, if that's what you want. We're glad that we're not. We are thankful for your support, your dollars, your $5, $10 go a long way, like KJ says. So again, in as much as we do want our message to go across the country, we're not willing and wanting to sell out to the highest bidder, so to speak, so that can happen. We thank you for your support, and we just thank you, and we wanted to share this PSA with you tonight.
Yes, indeed. You are absolutely right. And we appreciate each and every one of you all. Some of the things that I think should be done about this is, one, like the left does, language matters, and we have to start using the correct language when referring to these people. Again, these are not organic protests, all right? It's organized obstruction, all right? It's not protests, they're not demonstrations, and we need to treat it as such. So first for me is to publicly define the line. Protests are protected. Interference, stalking, doxing, threats, and obstruction are crimes. They are crimes. And so what needs to happen is they need to put out a clear federal bulletin by the DOJ and the DHS describing prohibited conduct in plain language. And we need to start using it. I'm not calling these people protest. They're obstructionists, okay? And that's what they need to be referred to, all right? And so the DOJ needs to start prosecuting these people for obstruction and intimidation. The left did that to pro-lifers who were praying at abortion clinics. They were not doxing people. They were not fighting law enforcement, none of this stuff. So this is what the DOJ needs to do, and they need to prioritize charges and then display that they are charging these people. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is they need to seek injunctions against coordinated harassment campaigns. I'm talking about RICO. Now, we know that this stuff is organized, okay? Even all the way from China, they are funneling in money to these groups that are then organizing, and they're using this organization via to secure weapons, to coordinate where they're going to be, who's going to be there. They're getting license plates numbers, all this type of stuff. So the DOJ can ask federal courts for injunctive relief to stop specific patterns, publishing real-time locations of these agents. Again, harassment, all of this stuff. This is under what's her name? Who is not my favorite person?
Bondi.
Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
This is what she needs to be doing. Yeah. I don't hear enough of this stuff. And then the third thing I think should happen is to create a financial transparency and enforcement task force. Okay, where this task force is strictly about investigating whether funds are being used to facilitate this illegal obstruction. So this is why it's important to first declare that it's illegal and then prosecute those who are funding it, audit compliance with nonprofit rules, if credible, and use subpoenas where appropriate to map the funding. That includes training, okay? I want to know where it's starting and where it's going, the pipeline in between. This is what we need. This is the stuff that Pam Bondi and her DOJ needs to be looking into.
Everything you said, I said, guess what, KJ? It can already be done. Yes. It can be done. And you know how I know it can be done? Because we have this organization, this 3-letter organization called the IRS, or the Treasury Department. That's part of that. They have a whole division dedicated to that, tracking down illegal or whatever international funds. They have, even if they're legal, quote unquote, they can track them down. So these things that we're suggesting to do, they are not difficult. They don't even have to invent a whole new, they really don't. There are already laws on the books. It's a matter of choosing to prosecute which laws or not at whatever time or not. So this is, American citizens are under these provisions, but just generally speaking, we are. Then it should be brought to the level when we have infiltrators from outside the country, certainly infusing themselves into the American political system or the NGO system.
Absolutely. Well, the question now is, there've been some shakeups within Minnesota as far as ICE and how they are carrying out the deportation program. So here in this next clip, independent journalist Nick Sorter reports to Steven Crowder that Border Patrol agents in Minnesota say they've been given new orders not to arrest non-criminal illegal immigrants. Take a look here. This is clip 5.
One of the stories that I've unfortunately been hearing this morning is that Border Patrol agents have now been given new orders not to, for example, if they were to run a license plate and it comes back as that person is an illegal that Border Patrol was forced to let into the country under Joe Biden, they are no longer allowed to arrest that person.
And is this
even
the first
though they know for a fact that's illegal?
Is this new information that you're just bringing to light right now, that these new orders? Okay. And I don't want you to reveal your sources, but you have someone who you trust on this. You believe this is a matter of official, actual approach and policy now.
This actually came from two separate Border Patrol agents on the ground in Minnesota. They were very, very frustrated. Obviously, they feel like one of them actually said that this feels like we just reverted to the Biden days.
All right. So before I get your response on this, Shelley, now Trump has come out and responded to this. He told Fox News today that that the left's characterization of his changes in Minnesota as a retreat are false. He said Kane brought up California Governor Gavin Newsom's comments suggesting that Democrats' anti-ICE stance had forced Trump to retreat. He quotes, "It's just the opposite. I was called by the Minnesota governor yesterday. I was called by the Minneapolis mayor yesterday, who said, please, how do we do something? I think it's bad for them. I don't think it's bad for us," Trump added. "But it's not a question of a retreat. We want safe cities. You know, we took a lot of the crime out of there. We want safe cities and states. We want a safe country. So, Shelley, what do you think? Is this a retreat or do you think it's a reorganization?
I'm going to go with reorganization.
Okay.
Only because Tom Homan, as I understand it so far, Tom Homan is going to now, I guess, be the leader there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on the ground, so to speak. So I'm going to say a reorganization. Tom Homan, from what I've been reading, again, of course, he has different methods compared to Kristi Noem. Again, as we mentioned yesterday, this is the political part of it, right? This is the political part of it that's I guess they're looking towards the midterms and even further. But and then President Trump had that call with Tim Walz or Fry, whichever one, I think. But I think this is more of a reorganization. Tom Homan has been in the business, so to speak, for 30 plus years. And Tom Homan wants illegals out as much as we do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned yesterday, Trump is now speaking out against Noam's initial description of the fatal shooting of Preddy, Alex Preddy, I believe his name was. That was the second fatal shooting in Minnesota. So he's also spoke out today in regards to that. He told reporters that he doesn't believe Alex Preddy was acting as an assassin, disagreeing with one of his top advisors, Stephen Miller, who labeled Preddy as an assassin shortly after he was shot and killed by Border Patrol agents. So, sir, was Mr. Preddy acting as an assassin? Do you think he was acting as an assassin in Minneapolis? New York Post reports. A reporter asked Trump, "No, I don't think so," Trump replied. So a lot of stuff. The whole thing is fluid, it looks like, on the ground in Minnesota today. But it looks like it is a reorganization. And I think it's for the good.
I think it is too. I think there have been some calls, which let me just say, this is kind of an aside, but a little related, which I found was interesting that now people on the right are calling for Kristi Noem, I guess, and maybe whomever else to resign or be fired. Right? I think she was wrong, like dead wrong, what she said, but I'm not calling for her to be fired. Number one, what I find interesting is that on the right, people have called for Bondi. I didn't want Bondi to be fired. She's not. But President Trump, true to form, he is, I guess, protecting. I don't know if that's the right word. He is protecting both of them. I'm not saying, I'm using the wrong word. He is stepping up for both of them. He's not firing them. And I don't think they should be. A reorganization is warranted, I guess. But I don't think they should be. But I thought it was just funny that on the right, there were calls to fire Bondi because she couldn't do the job. Well, she's messing up. She lied about the Epstein files. Now people are calling for firing on the right of Kristi Noem. I'm saying no, they're not. They did just admit they made the mistake. I thought they were wrong. Bondi too. But President Trump, again, true to form, he's going to stick it out with the people that he trusts can get the job done, even when they make mistakes.
Yeah, and I personally think that is I think it's a, what do you call it?
A weakness.
A weakness. A very, very it's a big weakness that can be it can really hurt him. He did the same thing with the last attorney, Jeff Sessions. He did it with William Barr.
He left pretty quickly though. Jeff Sessions did.
No,
he didn't stay that long.
He stood by him too for longer than everybody wanted.
General Flynn. I'm thinking General Flynn.
Okay, yeah. William Barr. He did the same thing with him. I don't know what it is with these attorney generals, but they have not been the best people that I think President Trump could have as attorney general. Number two, folks, we are not playing checkers. We are playing chess.
Right.
We don't have room for mistakes. We do not. We don't have room for mistakes because one, everyone is out to get us. And when I say everyone, I mean the media, globalists, the deep state. President Trump has a lot of people out to get him. The odds are against him. Okay. The only ones that are really, rooting for him are patriots like us. All right.
Yeah.
So, right. So that's number one. Number two, there's a lot on the line if we lose. And when I mean by lose, I mean if we don't get this stuff turned around, it's a lot on the line for the nation. Okay, so we need everyone at the top of their game. Stupid mistakes like Kristi Noem made shouldn't happen. Stupid mistakes like Pam Bondi made when she came in talking all that stuff about Epstein and all this stuff, and she's handing out the booklets and we got nothing. It should not happen. This is what I'm talking about.
No, I agree with you there. But I think you might be right. It might be a weakness. Don't get me wrong. It might be a weakness. It may be that also President Trump, again, he seems to be very good at making the deal, so to speak, or looking at some factors that maybe we don't see. Maybe he's thinking that if he did that now, right? If he got rid of them now, that would cause so much more confusion that risk outweighs the benefit of getting rid of them right now. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I agree with you. Those mistakes like that should not have been made like that. But I think President Trump is saying to get rid of them would put the party, if you will, in such a even more confusion that risk is not worth it, at least not right now.
Well, I mean, what do people do in business when you have situations like that?
They weigh the risk and the pros and the cons. They weigh the risk and the benefits.
No, they don't officially get rid of them, but they put them in a back office somewhere and move someone in who can get the job done. So technically, they're still in the position, but they're not around to make stupid mistakes.
Tom Homan. That's why he's going.
I love Tom Homan. I love Tom Homan. I mean, he's had some great people around him, but I mean, folks, I'm just too high strung about this. You've got sound off in the chat. Let me know what you think. But I'm just like, we don't have time. We don't have room for mistakes. We really don't. We don't have room for mistakes, and particularly, I mean, stupid mistakes. Right. These are stupid mistakes these people are making. All right. And here we have another clip here where Democrats now are saying they want ICE to quit and walk away. Take a look at this next clip. This is clip 3.
How do you do that without throwing out everything, though? Because there are clear policies here. The border numbers that Trump has achieved, that's something obviously that Americans are in favor of, even if they aren't in favor of the tactics that we're seeing in the city. How do you thread that needle? Yeah. And make sure you're not turning people off, and you're actually listening to people.
Americans want borders. Yeah, Americans want border security, Brianna. You're absolutely right, and I support that. And having resources at the border and having more asylum judges, to process the outstanding cases, absolutely, we should keep doing that. But this is about what's happening inside our country, and this ICE, as it exists, is unworkable. And so my advice to ICE, frankly, is quit, walk away. Do it now before you shoot in the face another mom of 3. This ICE is unworkable, and it needs to be completely crushed and reshaped with a mission that goes after the most violent, unmasked, and identification out.
Okay, so that was Representative Eric Swalwell. So basically, he means let everybody back in. Really, that's what he wants.
Yeah. I was going to say, you said it that way. I was going to say, basically, he means defund the police.
That's what they want. And again, they continue to fantasize and make it like these obstructionists, these insurgents are just homegrown innocent protesters when they're not. So new news is out today about Alex Pretty. So again, this was the man who was fatally shot by Border Patrol a couple of days ago. Well, Alex Pretty was left with a broken rib after a group of federal immigration officers tackled him while they were trying to make arrests the week before his death. This according to CNN. So Pretty stopped his car at the time after seeing federal immigration agents chasing what he said was a family, a source told the outlet. He then started shouting and blowing his whistle. All right. He later said that 5 agents tackled him while one leaned on his back, leaving him with a broken rib. So when we saw what he did the other day, that was not his first rodeo. All right. He was eventually let go as confrontations with demonstrators have grown in intensity federal agents have been told to capture all images, license plates, identifications, and general information on hotels, agitators, and protesters, according to CNN. So this guy has been, he was killed this time, but he's been doing this against ICE and law enforcement for quite some time.
Right. So it sounds like, I don't know whatever the name of the group is, but one of those anti-ICE agitation groups that he was a part of. It does sound like that. Like I said, unfortunately, this time he didn't come back to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So, folks, we got to continue to follow these stories and continue to call these people out. We can't make it easy, or I should say, we should make it easy for normal people to distance themselves from these radicals. So, again, we encourage lawful protest, all right, in designated areas, okay? Peaceful marchers versus these organized trackers and harassers and interferers. Nothing wrong with protesting. I've protested before.
Got a question. I was gonna say, we just went to a protest a couple weeks ago, and we've gone to others, and this is what I don't understand. In no way, shape, and form am I saying or advocating. Of course, you insert yourself, get involved, or with a police action. But I thought that you had to be back so many feet. I don't know what the footage is or was. I don't know what the footage is. Maybe it varies in different areas. But I thought you had to stay back a certain amount of footage from any police activity, even if it's your local police activity, let alone ICE or Border Patrol. So that's the part I don't understand, how they are even getting that close. Mm-hmm. And I guess the only thing I can come up to is that because the local police are not there to enforce those local laws and ordinances, the people are getting too close or getting involved.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it sounds like. So we will continue to follow this story. Good news out today, however. I know we had mentioned about whether or not, or I would say how this is affecting the midterms and just the midterms. How is it affecting it? And so I think just from my research, it's kind of been pretty even. People still, the polls are showing that people still want immigration. They want it, the polls are showing that they agree with deporting most of these all illegals, and definitely criminal illegals. Where it kind of starts to get fuzzy is how this is going to affect the midterms. So there are some polls that are saying this is having a negative effect on the midterms, and then there are some polls that saying it's pretty even. So it's still early. And we will continue to follow those stories. One thing that's out today is the economy. So on CNN, CNN host was shocked with an economist saying we have a booming economy. Take a look here. This is clip 6.
Look at the facts of the economy. It is a booming economy. The latest report is almost 5.5% growth in the fourth quarter, which is an incredible number. We haven't seen that in recent memory. We've got gas prices down. Inflation is headed down to the 2% target. Median family income last year was up $2,500. Those are people in the exact middle, adjusted for inflation. I mean, I could go on and on with the positive elements of this.
All right. So that's good news. What are your thoughts on there, Shelley?
I mean, that is great news. And one of the things I was reading in the Wall Street Journal, they used the word that it could be a sustained growth. So meaning that it's going to it's projected, or it looks like it could happen over several quarters, not just one quarter here and there. So this is absolutely good news. I think what's going to make it even better, and I'm hoping that makes it even better, is that come April the 15th, that Americans and that our Republican Congress, our Congress will make these tax laws that were put under the one big beautiful bill, will implement them and make them permanent. Americans don't need this up and down, heart palpitations every April 15th. Give us our money back. Give us our money back. We want these tax cuts permanent for every American, every working American, so that he and she can do what they need to do for themselves, their families, and their own money. Give it to however they want to do it, spend it however they want it. But these things need to be permanent. Republican Congress, Senate, we still have the majority right now. We got work to do.
Yep, absolutely. And so LJ sent an email in to me earlier today, basically telling me to chill from yesterday. No, I thank you for your email, LJ. But he did send a link to a poll by RMG, and basically showing that most Americans are in favor of these deportations and of what President Trump is doing. And so I thought it was a great poll. Now, I did some research of my own. So RMG are great polls in the sense where there are sort of right-leaning pollsters, but they're able to capture what these other polls don't, which are mostly MAGA or Trump people who may be afraid to talk or give their opinion to these other pollsters. But the issue there is sometimes the RMG polls lean too far right and don't give an actual account of what the nation and particularly independents feel on these issues. So I did check the RMG polls. I also checked Real Clear Politics, which based on historical data, Real Clear Politics polling has been a more accurate polling on particularly midterms. So when we're talking about just polling on, MAGA or conservative arenas or areas, RMG is really good. But when it comes to just getting independent polls, just getting a real pulse of what these maybe swing voters are thinking, Real Clear Politics, historically, I should say, is the better poll. And so their numbers are showing as far as midterms. Now, again, it's really early, okay? But I mean, these polls average 2.3 point errors nationally and are basically saying that it's sort of even with how this is going to affect the midterms.
Yeah. So interesting because I like one of the polls I always go to as sort of the Pew poll, and I like the Pew poll in that it generally goes across the country. It takes a swath of people, and you get more of that. I guess that mixture as far as in the middle, not too far right, not too far left. Now the Pew does have some, I would say, slightly more center left leanings overall, but I use that one as sort of as a comparison to other polls. But again, generally speaking, this poll from the Pew was taken in December. So this was even before, what's her name? Renee Good, certainly before Alex Preddy. And you still have about 40%, 35-40% of people in the middle, as far as immigration, maybe it just, what they're doing might be just about right. And then it's about 50% that approve and 50% disapprove. So again, like you said, we're still early. So we'll see. I mean, maybe with the reorganization with Tom Homan there, the economy, the taxes, all those things might pan out for the better. We certainly need to urge people to get out and vote. Republicans, conservatives, you need to vote. You have to vote. You have to vote.
Yeah. And we can do this, folks. I haven't given up yet. I think that we can still push through and hold the Senate and the House, but we got to continue to speak up, speak out, and correct the record on these things, because it's people, it's small podcasts like ours and you all talking in the community, talking to people, showing them the data, showing them what's going on in these areas with these radical insurgents, and opening eyes. And that's what we did for the last election, and we can do it again. So, yep. So please, as you guys come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. I know we have some super chatters here, Shelly.
All right, let's see who we have. Mr. Producer, thank you. He put up Ronette Brown. Thank you for your $2 super chat. Ronette says, nasty Democrats, we have to stand American strong. Absolutely, Ronette. Thank you for that. Deb Longo. Okay, Deb Longo. Thank you for your $2 super chat. Thank you for a place to go where truth is spoken. Thank you, Deb, for stopping by as well. And we have Ronetta Brown again for her $2 super chat. Insurrectionist, borderline treason, hashtag follow the money. You are, Ronette, you're so right. 9 times out of 10, you cannot go wrong if you follow the money. And Deb Longo again, thank you for becoming a member of our Freedom Seekers Club, Deb. Woohoo! Thank you very much. Thank you for all your super chats so far. Butterfly Mama, thank you for your $10 super chat. Hi, ladies. I have watched your podcast for about 4 months or so. I have always been curious as to what your career backgrounds are. Nicole's too. I know that is a random question. LOL, much love. Hi, Butterfly. I'll tell you what, I dance in the bars.
Oh my gosh.
No. Maybe one day we'll have a conversation about that on a Friday when we have a call in or something like that. We'll do that. But we all have very professional backgrounds here.
Yeah.
We have another super chatter here, Real Russ. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Real Russ says, my mom's entire family lives and works in downtown Minneapolis, all stage 5 TDS Dems.
Wow.
It took this fraud and the non-reporting of the quote-unquote peaceful protest to wake them up. Okay. Finally done with Dems. Wow. Thank you, Russ. Be there for your family. They're going to need to help you. Need you to help them recover from the TDS. So
yes, indeed.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. All right, folks. So wanted to quickly get to this topic here. So not sure if you guys have seen in the Free Press today, they have a featured story about Glenna Goldis. Okay. So she is a gay consumer fraud attorney. All right. Just weeks ago, we were actually standing outside the Supreme Court with her, rallying to protect girls' sports. And we had the opportunity to interview her. And she warned us this was coming. Okay. So again, her name is Glenna Goldis. She's a lesbian, a consumer fraud attorney, and until very recently, she worked inside the New York New York Attorney General's office. All right. Now she's been fired. All right. Not for misconduct, not for incompetence, but for speaking out against pediatric gender medicine and opposing boys competing in girls' sports. All right. So tonight we're asking, if this is inclusion, why does it require silencing women? Now, the Free Press just did this article. I wanted to bring you guys our interview with her that we did recently. I have it here. Let me see here before we get into this. All right. Okay. So I want to see if I can pull this up. This is just a quick clip of us speaking to her. When was this, Shelly?
The 13th. I think it was January 13th. Yeah,
okay.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we were outside of the Supreme Court rallying against getting boys out of girls' sports. And we met her. And she was telling us about how she was working in New York City in the Attorney General's office with Letitia James and the rest of them. But she was vehemently against gender affirming care. Well, now she's been fired. Here it is.
Big Fish fired her.
Yep. All right, let me see here. Can you see it? Yeah. Okay, here we go. And I'm here, and this is an interesting sign. So can you talk about why you're here and talk about what your sign is about?
I came down here from New York because I'm concerned about two things: girls' sports and boys' health. Those boys who are being given puberty blockers and estrogen so that they can pretend to be girls, they're being hurt by the adults around them, the doctors, and unfortunately the other adults who think they're doing the right thing, but they're not. So a lot of these boys who are very gender nonconforming, who are into Barbie dolls and that kind of thing, a lot of them grow up to be gay. That's like kind of a normal course of things. Like me, when I was a kid, I was a tomboy. I was a girl who liked to play, with boys' toys, whatever. I grew up to be a lesbian. That's very common. But nowadays, these kids are being told that they are the opposite sex, and they're being prescribed drugs that hurt them, puberty blockers, are the drug that is used to chemically castrate sex offenders. And it's controversial in that context because they have so many side effects.
Yeah. Now, for you being, a gay woman, how have you been received for being on this side of the issue? Because I know we are sort of like the opposite. We're conservative as Black females, and so we get like a lot of trash about it. But how do you get received for this position?
Yeah, I think there may be some parallels. I have gotten some flack from other gay people, and they're definitely like a number of gay people who are like, I agree with you, but it's very quiet and like.
All right. So there she is, folks. And now, she's been fired. Shelly, what are your thoughts on this?
All right, I know y'all gonna say, "Oh, here's Shelly." This is what I'm gonna say. When I read that article, this is why I am stuck on 1A. Okay, being able to speak out. If you're telling the truth, what you know is true, whatever side you're on, she should not have been fired for that. Now, what's her name? Big Tip, New York Attorney General, would say that she's breaking policy or she's not following the rules. This is why I always say some rules need to be broken, because all these rules, some of them are just made up. Okay, they're just made up. And then this woman, a competent lawyer, I'm saying competent based on whatever she says her experience is, competent lawyer. She happens to be gay, but she is not for so-called transing boys and girls. Okay, she's speaking out. Why should she have to be silent about that, even if she is at work? I mean, this is part of her job. She's a consumer protection fraud or something attorney.
Yeah, but, I mean, I understand that certain employers have policies where you cannot do things that will make them look bad. So, and that's like for I don't know, let's say you work for a marketing company and you're marketing for a certain advertiser and you go out and disparage this advertiser. Okay.
That's not what right.
I understand that, but this woman was basically writing essays on her own time. She was speaking publicly about a major issue of public concern, and she was told to resign or agree to stop all unapproved speech immediately. So that's not workplace policy. That's ideological loyalty.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is why this all feeds in. These are some made up things. So why should you have to quote unquote follow the rules for something that's number one made up, and it's impeding against her right to speak out on it, period. So that's just it. Even on her own time. She wasn't doing this on work time. She was doing it on her own time. And it just happened to be an issue that she is passionate about, and she knows something about it, particularly from a fraud and a misrepresentation background, if you will. So then why should she not be able to speak out on it? This is why these things creep up. Big Tish needs to be shot in her ass, harpooned so she can sit down. So I'm sick of her. I'm sick of her. She's causing and contributing to more damage.
This is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about yesterday. These people want power and control. They have their intention is to destroy liberty. Okay. The Supreme Court set a precedent in Pickering v. Board of Education back in 1968, which protects government employees' speech when it's done outside of work. So on matters of public concern, they are protected. Now, Goldis, she complied even when she didn't have to.
Exactly.
She filed outside activity requests. She asked permission repeatedly. She was ignored, delayed, or denied. So they weren't enforcing a rule. They were enforcing silence.
But ideology. Yes.
Exactly. But this is the left. This is the inclusive left. Yeah, right. A bunch of bull.
So I hope she sues. I hope she sues them.
Yeah, so do I. I do as well, because this is a contradiction to Letitia James and the rest of these hypocrites' political positions. All right. And so I believe James has filed amicus briefs supporting pediatric gender medicine. She's issued press releases calling it life-saving, and Goldis knew that claim was false. Even the ACL had walked it back. But in New York, the truth is in subordination if it contradicts their orthodoxy. This is what it is, folks.
Absolutely.
So we got to continue to, we wanted to shed light on this because we actually met her. Yeah. And this is a really big thing. So if they can fire a government lawyer for telling the truth, imagine what they expect from the rest of us, folks. We got to continue to fight back.
And remember, there was another lady there. Now she was on the opposing side from us, and she mentioned that she was an attorney, but she didn't want to talk on camera. You remember her? She didn't want to talk on camera because she said, "I'm a lawyer." I think
she ACLU, I believe.
I think she said, "Yeah, ACLU." She said she didn't want to talk on camera because she didn't want people. So again, even though now she was on the opposite side, we disagree with her. But again, when these are outright. Yeah. I'm just saying she didn't want to talk on camera because she's afraid that the ACLU is going to fire her.
Yeah, it's terrible. That's what I'm talking about. But they know that this is what they're about. So we will continue to keep this in the forefront, folks. Again, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. Also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe, share this video on your social media, send it in a text message, in a DM. We want to get the word out about this stuff. The mainstream media is ignoring these topics, these issues, and so we need you to help us get the word out.
That's right.
All right.
Another super chatter here.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gloria Beardsley, thank you for your $10 super chat, Gloria, and for being a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. Gloria says, I agree, KJ. Put Pam on another assignment somewhere else where she's not able to make those stupid mistakes. To me, the worst one was missing the deadlines to prosecute James
That was another one. Yeah, that was another one. Yeah. These are small. This is stuff you expect people like her, the top of the food chain when it comes to law, not to mess up. Oh my goodness. Don't get me started on that again. Please don't. All right.
And we have Real Russ, who is also a member. He became a YouTube member of our Freedom Club here, Freedom Seekers. Thank you, Real Russ. Thank you all. Keep hitting that like, share, and subscribe, and keep the super chats coming. We thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to change gears a little bit, folks. Again, as we've said, somebody asked our backgrounds. Well, one thing we do is we do a lot of grassroots. Okay. We do a lot of local grassroots. I wouldn't call it activism, but we walk the talk. What is it? Talk. What is it?
Yeah, that's it. Talk.
Okay.
I hate that word activism too for us. I do.
Yeah, no, we walk the talk. So when we can, be instrumental in politics and in local government and things like that, we try to do it. And one of those things Shelly did today, along with Michelle Talkington. We have Michelle with us tonight. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. You're muted.
Oh, can you hear us,
Michelle? Yeah, I can hear you guys. Okay. Hey,
okay.
Hello. Hey to everybody in the chat. I'm watching the whole show. I love you guys though.
So. Yes. Michelle is my co-host. We have we're on Thursday and Sunday nights on Christian Conservative right here, where we talk about news and politics from a biblical perspective. But Michelle is also running for office. Can you just talk about the position you're running for, Michelle?
Yes. So in 2024, I was the congressional candidate, the Republican U.S. congressional candidate in Maryland for District 5. That's all of Southern Maryland. And we decided to refile. We haven't done all of our party announcements, but we refiled, and are we up against some crazy stuff here in Maryland.
Yes, indeed. Well, folks, Michelle needs our support, and so we will continue to support her in any way we can. But Michelle and Shelly today were on. Well, you guys talk about what you did. What was the issue? And then I have the video of your testimony. Shelly,
go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, Michelle, go ahead.
So in Maryland, of course, this pushback because everybody has Trump derangement syndrome, but especially here in Maryland. So they had an emergency hearing with our wonderful, of course, I don't mean that, Governor Wes Moore. He convinced some politicians actually from my district to sponsor a bill, House Bill 0488. Now, House Bill 488 is an emergency bill because it's always an emergency to redistrict midterm. For Maryland, we district every 10 years, and we look at fair maps. We just barely went through that in 2022, where we had these maps we're adjusting to. Well, right now they are trying to eliminate the only seat we have out of 8 that belongs to Andy Harris, of course, Republican and conservative, and he's on the Eastern Shore. So, of course, they're gerrymandering knows no bounds. That's why we were there, to fight against this midterm gerrymandering. And this is not normal for Maryland. No. So this is not a response. This is not a response to anything. This is intentional. They don't care about Maryland. They don't care about Maryland's voters. They really just care about Governor Westmore running for president. So if you want to be serious, the only reason you knock out the one Republican, and just so you guys know, there are 2 million Democrats in Maryland, but there are 1 million Republicans. So tell me why, out of all 8 districts, there's only 1 Republican representative. That's because they intentionally go through and carve out deep blue pocket cities and call it rural, put a stamp on it. That's what they've done.
And if there's about 6 million people or so in Maryland, which means what, Michelle? About 3 million are not a Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, unaffiliated, independent, Green Party, you name it.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, it's already unfair. And now they're trying to, this is what the Democrats do, make it even more unfair by gerrymandering these districts. I have the video of both of your testimonies today.
They always sneaking.
I know. Well, Michelle, she sent me the video because I didn't even know I could watch it. And I was like, oh, let me see here. And so I was screen recording it, and then I saw that I could get it on YouTube.
Guys, it was crazy that we were lined up together. We didn't even know that we were both waiting for hours. So this hearing, just as the backup, they pushed this through last week. Told us on Thursday, and then said we only had till Sunday to sign up for a Monday hearing. They did it during one of the biggest snowstorms we've had in in 5 to 10 years. So this was on purpose to limit the amount of
absolutely on purpose.
Their sound was messed up. I know Shelly and I were texting like, "Can you hear? I can't hear me. Can you hear her?" We were interrupted. It was a mess for something that's an emergency. They have an emergency. That's getting somebody in tech and audio to fix that if they're going to have these sneaky hearings.
It's always like that when you call that technology needs to be improved. They always want to use money for everything, but they don't do it for that because they don't want us testifying.
And the thing that got me with a nutty leftist on here, these people are deranged. They are delusional. Oh my gosh. I don't know how you guys kept your composure.
Most of the people that were for the bill, and I would say, unfortunately, it was about 2 to 3 to 1 for the bill, for the bill. And most of them, they mentioned they doing this, it should be done because we're trying to stop Donald Trump.
Yep, Trump.
They're trying to save democracy. It's fair. All kinds of foolishness, all kinds of foolishness. But when I testify, I've testified before. I always like to throw in that I'm Black. I do that on purpose because they like to use the race card for everything to benefit them. So I like to do that on purpose just so I can just, maybe I hope I'm getting them riled up. I just hope I am.
Well, here it is. We have the testimony. You guys did a great job. Let me see here. So I hope I have it in the right place. Okay.
0488. Number one, public notices happened in a rushed forum, and there were also late notices and inaccessibility for the public to join at some of the hearings. Number two, Republican representation will be nullified in Maryland. Governor Moore often speaks of fairness and transparency. This bill and these redistricting or gerrymandered maps will do nothing of the sort. As a woman, as a Black woman, as a veteran, as a non-Democrat, who will represent my interests? It's quite one thing to be able to choose who I vote for and based on the issues. It's quite another to have the options removed and my constitutional right to have representation by apportionment nullified by people who swore an oath to uphold the Constitution over and above their quest for power, position, and status, or for government allegiance to a governor who wants to increase his national presence on the national playing field. This redistricting gerrymandered map is a travesty. It totally obliterates the rights of Marylanders and me as an American, as a veteran, for the Constitution that I swore to uphold. It does nothing of the sort. Stop playing the games. Stop playing with Maryland voters. Stop playing with our Constitution. You are not there to treat us as serfs and subjects. We are citizens and residents of the state of Maryland and the United States, of which we are taxpayers, homeowners, moms, dads, veterans, teachers, whatever the case may be. This bill, HB 048888, and its redistricting gerrymandered map is nothing short of.
All right, they tried to stop. They tried to stop Shelly. Shelly was on a roll. They had to cut her off.
The thing is that we thought we had 5 minutes. That's what we were told. So I had all these pages worth of stuff, and then they tell us at the beginning, you will each have 2 minutes. Wow. And then they said the time, and they cut you off after 2 minutes. So half the stuff I wanted to say, I'm going through like scratching it out.
Right. And you can't hear the way they have it set up. You have the YouTube feed, and then you have the Zoom feed. So you're not sure. You can see yourself on one, and then they bring you into the other, but it's a delay, so you can't hear what they're saying.
Wow. Yep. Yeah, but you did an amazing job. I thought you did an excellent job. One thing I want to ask you is, do you feel like this is going to make a difference?
You mean, do I think that the bill is going to pass?
Yeah, do you think the bill's it's going to pass?
Oh, I think they're going to take it out of committee and send it to the floor.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to go. I think it's going to get out of committee. In my experience with Maryland, most of the bills will go through. They get out of committee. They are voted out of committee. Whether, no matter how many people vote against them, this is all performative. It's just to say that they can dot the I's and cross the T's as far as the legislative process, that they let the people speak.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I want to get Michelle's testimony here, which was also really good. Let me see here. Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Excuse me. Congress is absolutely
talking to Miss Talkington.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I have it correct. You've signed up in favorable of the.
Oops, one sec. I was trying to get it back. Okay, here we go.
Teachers, whatever the case may be,
are also running for the very seats that they're looking to gerrymander. This is gerrymandering gymnastics that I've seen going on. We've had an opportunity to get used to the 2022 maps, which to say that they are fair and they only represent
I'm sorry to interrupt. Excuse me.
In Congress is absolutely
talking to Miss Talkington.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I have it correct. You've signed up in favorable of the bill. Are you
unfavorable?
Are you in favor of this bill?
It's signed up as unfavorable. It should have been unfavorable.
Okay, that was I have to make a correction on the list. Thank you so much. You please go back and continue.
Is it possible for the clock to give the 10 seconds back?
I love that.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm no fool at this.
So I do appreciate everyone that has voted in favor, because they've made it clear that this is a national discussion, which I think is unfair. Marylanders deserve to not be used as pawns against states that are 3 to 8 times our size, not just in the demographic, the actual land mass, but in their economy. Marylanders deserve to have Marylanders represent them. You are taking away that opportunity if you allow this current map and this bill 488 to pass. And I will say, I agree that our voice should count, our voice should matter. The leaders of Maryland should include the voices of Black conservatives. And you have made a resounding effort to say we do not matter. Our voices do not count. And because I've gotten the 10 seconds extra, it's clear not just to me, but moderate Democrats, independents, farmers, and members of rural America, rural Maryland. We matter. Please vote unfavorably. Thank you.
All right. Excellent job. Michelle, what's your response to what you saw happen there today?
So I thought it was interesting. They interrupted me. And you want to know when they interrupted me? When I made the statement, because you guys, they get to introduce the bill, the sponsor of the bill, Delegate C.T. Wilson, who's in my area. And I can tell you some crazy things he said to my face. So some of that, referencing, he doesn't like Candace Owens looking women, apparently down here coming on the arms of white men. So there's some serious stuff that we can go back and forth about offhanded comments. But one of the sponsors and co-sponsors of this bill is declared and filing to run in District 5. So when I said that, it is disingenuous that you have the people sponsoring the bill running in the gerrymandered seats. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we said unfavorable, favorable, in favor. There's no in favorable. It's unfavorable or in favor of. So we just laughed at that. I just thought, okay, I see where you're going with that, and hold your ground. This is just a circus, anyways.
Absolutely.
It's a show.
Then before you get in, Shelley, I wanted to just, because as some of you may know, Wes Moore is the governor of Maryland, and of course, he is one of the main ones that wants this gerrymandering. Take a look at him. He's here at the hearing, and hear what he has to say about why he believes this should be the map should be changed.
Because make no mistake, what the President of the United States is doing right now is political redlining. And it's not lost to me that I am the only Black governor in this country.
Oh, here we go.
I'm the third elected Black governor in the history of this nation. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and their allies in the states that he suggested are doing everything in their power to silence the voices and trying to eliminate Black leadership, elected leadership all over this country. So no, I will not sit quiet. And the audacity of those who are telling me to do so shows that they have no understanding of the journey of so many who came before us.
So you see how he's trying to frame this. He's saying that because he is one of the only, or the first, was he first Black governor?
I think the third.
Okay, Black governor.
He's the only one right now, but
okay, that it's due to these maps that he feels are racially divided. Ladies, what are your thoughts on that?
Number one, this is why, again, most of the time when I testify, I always use that Black, because they like to use it for their way. I want to point out that I'm Black too, and we don't all think alike, okay?
Exactly.
That's number one. Number two, how is a map redistricted in Texas? Why does that affect Maryland? When we already have one Republican to 7 Democrats in Congress representing us. How is that? He makes no sense. He makes me sick. I can't stand that man. I can't stand his high. I can't stand with a man with a high ass higher than mine. Number one,
it's very high, ladies. It's very high.
But it's all like it's TDS. I don't know another word to use. It's all TDS. But Michelle, this is what I wanted to ask you. You might be able to help me understand this. Why do they even have to know whether we are coming in as favorable or unfavorable from the beginning? Why?
Well, they say so they can even out or balance and prep essentially those that are on the floor in hearing, hey, they have 25, let's say they have 3,000 people that are against something and 20 that are in favor. So what they'll do is they'll put the in favors either first, or they'll put an in favor and then let 10 unfavorable go. So the idea is either have a balance or foreknowledge of, who the players are. To me, I say, yeah, right. Exactly. In the state of Maryland, it's more so that they can have their questions ready. So let's be clear. The people that were actually in the hearing, see, I didn't even know we could go up in person. Everything is shut down until yesterday. And they said you could be in, because remember, everything's closed. They said virtual, and they said, okay, virtual, in person. So I would have been in person, trust and believe, because I like to make them uncomfortable. You know darn good and well, I've said Black conservative voices matter for a reason, because there was rhetoric before that talked about DEI and how important it is. And yeah, you know what? Diversity is important, diversity of thought. So quit playing around like everybody thinks the same. That's what you want to have in the state of Maryland. You want us all to be Democrats, but we're not. That's over a third of the population in Maryland that's being disenfranchised from this nonsense. Get ready for the lawsuit. And believe me, Maryland, the GOP, we are already lawyered up and ready for what they do with this.
Yeah. And what is your thoughts on what he just said, that point that he's trying to make, that these districts, the current way that its district is somehow negative towards people of color?
Well, first, it's an absolute lie. So this man doesn't just have Trump derangement syndrome. He has I want to be Obama so bad syndrome. So he will say anything and everything and nothing at the same time. And you guys know what I mean. If anybody's ever heard Wes Moore, he runs around in circles and sounds intelligent and tells you absolutely nothing, but he says it with a smile and with authority. This man is foolish. He's not serious about it. These maps are crystal clear. In fact, they are not fair. They actually aren't fair right now because they carve out heavily dense city populations that affect all of the rural parts of Maryland. Maryland's economy thrives because of our farmland, because of the waterways, right? The Chesapeake Bay, it's a tremendous resource. So why don't we have more representation? So actually fair, they don't care about fair. They never have cared about fair. Fair is to make sure that they eliminate any voice that's in opposition.
Absolutely. If they want to be fair, what they would do, that new map for the Eastern Shore all the way up to Anne Arundel County, if they want to be fair, they would make that more than one district, number one, and have so that, and it probably would go Republican just because of the, the population there, but they don't want that. They don't want to take that chance. So they rather get rid of the only one. And then they want you to believe that this is fair and equal and transparent. It's about the bullshit. I have no respect for those people. I don't. I do not. I don't care if you call me rude, disrespectful, unruly. I have zero respect for them or their titles or whatever. I don't care. They work for us, not the other way around.
Yeah. And one thing that really annoys me is just to watch and listen to Wes Moore speak. He does this thing now. Not only is he bald, not only is his hair short, but he's actually bald. But then he moves like he has hair on his head. So he does this thing. He really gives me Will Smith gay vibes, where because Will Smith has a high booty as well. But he does this thing where as he's he does like this. He's moving hair out of his face.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's just like, you're a man and you have no hair. What are you doing? Okay, so this guy is just really weird. Like you mentioned, he has TDS. They're all obsessed with Trump. And we'll see what happens with this.
Remember that commercial, KJ? I forget the insurance. You might remember. What's in your closet? Let's ask him. What's in your closet? What's in your closet?
Oh yeah, this closet is carrying a big bat, and we know where he's sticking it. Okay. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell people where they can, anything you want Pete to know, or anything you want to share with the audience, where they can support or where they can find you.
Hey guys, you can visit me at talkington4congress.com. We are restarting all of our social media. Again, Talking Ton is not a very usual name. So if you type in Talking Ton, I'm going to pop up all over the place. But we're going to kick things off. So please support. I think because this is a congressional race, I can get support from anywhere in the nation. And it's all about pushing back because they think they've won the narrative and they haven't. They don't rule us. They can own every media station that they want to. But the reason we are in this group right now, Pop and Politics, Christian Conservative, you name it, is because they don't rule us. We are pushing back and say, no, we are in charge. So do that in any way you can with local candidates, local podcasts, keep supporting this program. I love you guys in Pop and Politics, and I love all my friends that I recognize out there in the chat. It was great joining you. Anytime. I'm here anytime.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Michelle. We will see you on Thursday.
All right. We have one more super before we go. We have Kung Fu. CJ, he made it here tonight. Thank you, Kung Fu. He says KJ said Will Smith gay vibes.
Oh yeah. 6 Degrees of Separation, folks. Watch that movie. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you to you all for your super chats, for hanging in with us on this Tuesday night. We just started our Tuesday night live, so I'm going to do this or try to do it every Tuesday at 7:30, and we will be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. running down the latest in news and hot topics from a conservative perspective. All right. So please, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. But we will be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right here on Pop and Politics. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.